This is the Silverback SB54 in-ground basketball hoop. The best part is how it brings that real gym feel to a driveway or a backyard, with a glass backboard that gives a clean bounce and a rim that encourages you to play hard without worrying about breaking anything. I look at this as a permanent style, anchored hoop for people who actually want to play, not just shoot around once in a while. It is for families who have different ages and skill levels under one roof, and it is for anyone who wants to put in real practice at home. If you care about a solid bounce off the glass, being able to lower or raise the rim on demand, and a setup that does not wobble when someone goes up strong, this lives in that lane. The design matters because it affects how every shot feels. The backboard is real tempered glass, not plastic or acrylic. That means bank shots do not die on contact. The frame and the pole are steel, and the finish is powder-coated, which is a big deal for resisting rust when the seasons change. The height adjustment is a steel crank that actually feels good to use. I can set it anywhere from about 7.5 feet to the regulation 10 feet, which matches what you see in the National Basketball Association and the National Collegiate Athletic Association. There is a pro-style breakaway rim that flexes. When you dunk or even hang on it for a split second after finishing, the rim gives, and that takes stress off your wrists and off the glass. There is padding on the pole and padding along the bottom of the backboard. I have clipped the pole by accident while scrambling for a loose ball, and that extra bit of protection makes a difference. The glass is lightly tinted, and that cuts down on glare when the sun is hitting at a bad angle. On summer afternoons, I notice I am not squinting or losing track of the ball off the window. Setup is a real project, and I want to be honest about that. The boxes are heavy. The total weight is somewhere around 200 pounds, and that is not an exaggeration. I needed an extra set of hands to move everything safely. The anchor kit is included, so you are digging a hole and mixing concrete. I used about a dozen bags of quick-setting concrete to give it the base it deserves. I took my time with the anchor bolts and the template to keep everything square. I let the concrete cure properly. I know it is tempting to rush, but this is the foundation that keeps the pole from shifting when someone throws down a dunk. Once the base was ready, we bolted on the pole, attached the arms, and lifted the backboard with help. It took a few hours of steady work, not counting the cure time. The manual is clear, and the hardware is labeled, which helped. I kept a level nearby and triple-checked every step so the backboard ended up straight. I also planned the location so the overhang was right for my driveway. Living with it day to day has been smooth. The crank moves the rim up and down without fighting me, and it holds its position once I stop turning. I can lower it for younger kids, then bring it back up to 10 feet for real runs or for practice. Adjusting it does not feel like a chore, and I do not hear creaks or groans from the mechanism. I check the bolts every month or so because outdoor hardware always relaxes a little, and staying on top of that keeps everything solid. Performance is where this earns its space. The tempered glass backboard changes how shots feel. Bank shots sound clean, with a crisp pop off the glass, and the rebound is predictable. I do not get that dull thud that cheaper plastic boards have. Misses that hit hard do not make the whole structure buzz or rattle, as long as the base is installed right. The rim has a satisfying give when you dunk, and it snaps back to true without twisting off center. On really aggressive slams, the pole moves a hair, but it is controlled and it settles quickly. That bit of motion is normal with a breakaway rim, and honestly, it feels the way a well-mounted gym hoop behaves. The powder-coated finish has held up through rain and heat. I do not see corrosion, the paint has not faded, and the hardware still turns without seizing. The tinted glass continues to make afternoon games easier on the eyes. I have played a lot of solo sessions on this hoop, and I notice small things that add up. When I shoot corner threes, I get consistent feedback from the rim and the backboard. The ball does not tail off in weird ways after it hits the glass. When I practice finishing off the window from different angles, the backboard gives the same response each time, so I can build muscle memory. When friends come over, we play physical 1-on-1 or 3-on-3, and the base stays planted. There is a touch of movement on hard makes, but it does not affect the next shot. On windy days, the structure does not sway unless there are really strong gusts. Even then, the movement is minor. One of my favorite use cases is a family day. I bring the rim down to something fun for younger players so they can actually see shots drop. It keeps them engaged, and it is a good way to learn form without frustration. Later, I bring it back to 10 feet for a real run with adults. That range from about 7.5 feet to 10 feet is the right spread for a family. Another regular routine for me is a quick shooting workout in the evening. I set a timer, move around the arc, and mix in bank shots to check my touch off glass. The rim and the backboard give me the same response I expect at a gym, so when I get to a league night, the timing carries over. I also use it for simple conditioning. I do rebound and put back drills with some force, and the hoop takes it without complaint. There are a few smart touches that I appreciate after months of use. The anchor system means I can unbolt the hoop from the base plate if I ever move. It is still work, but I am not stuck abandoning a big investment in the ground. The padding is included, and it is not just a decorative strip. It is dense enough to matter when you crash into it. The height crank is placed where I can reach it easily and adjust without leaning into the pole awkwardly. And the tempered glass itself is the real star, because it delivers the consistency I want without adding much maintenance. I hose it down once in a while and it looks new again. It is not perfect. The installation is a commitment. You are mixing concrete, aligning an anchor, and lifting heavy parts. If you live somewhere you cannot dig or pour, this is not the right style of hoop. During the build, getting the anchor exactly plumb can be stressful, because a tiny tilt at the base becomes obvious at the top. Taking the time to set that anchor dead straight solves the problem. I also accept that I will be tightening bolts here and there, because outdoor systems always need a little attention after a season change. Those are minor costs for the stability and feel you get once it is up. If you want a hoop that looks and plays like what you see in a real gym, and you are willing to put in a weekend to install it right, the Silverback SB54 delivers. It is stable, it is adjustable, it is safe for aggressive play, and it holds up to weather. It is a great fit for families who want to include younger players without sacrificing a true 10-foot experience for adults. It is also a smart pick for anyone who wants to train with a real glass bounce at home. If you prefer something you can roll into the garage, or you do not want to deal with concrete, look at a portable option instead. For me, the satisfaction of stepping outside and getting a legit run on a hoop that feels trustworthy has made this system worth the effort. Please check the comments section for detailed information about the Silverback SB54 in-ground basketball hoop. Thank you for watching.